Hello everybody, it's Lady Kaylah here, and today I am going to do a video similar to that of the Cersei video that I did, and it's going to just be a reflection or an exploration of a character, and just asking people to take a deeper level of understanding for a character. And this isn't a call to like a character that you dislike or, trying to persuade you and what you think. It's just to encourage you to look at a character more in depth so that you get a better understanding of them, and it will contextually just make the whole entire story more interesting and better. And the character that I'm going to explore today is Sansa Stark, because like Cersei, I think she just gets the most unreasonable hate. I think Cersei gets justifiable hate, but I think Sansa just gets brushed off and hated for the stupidest reasons. She gets called childish, and she is a child. She gets hate for her abusive period, when that's just sick. How are you going to hate a character for being put in a abusive situation against their will? And so I just want to explore this character and start with, just the fact that she does grow and progress, and the fact that she does grow the way that she does makes her the best character, in my opinion, the most human character that is in A Song of Ice and Fire. And so we just get so many characters who are thrust into these just awesome, fantastical situations, and Sansa is one of the few characters who don't. Her growth and her progress is very much internal, and it's more real than the rest of the characters' growth and progress. We start with this young girl who is just head in the clouds, believes in romance, believes in the fairy tales, has this beautiful innocence about her where she trusts everyone, and she just doesn't understand evil in the world. She's a young girl, and that's a beautiful thing, and I think most people would kill to have that childhood innocence back. And maybe that's a reason why people don't like Sansa, because she does still have this innocence that we all had at one point. We can't just ignore the fact that Sansa represents a part of our lives that we once had. The ability to have this imagination, the ability to look at the world without all the evils that it has. We were all like that once. And we start out with a young girl like that. Now, it's true, she's a privileged girl, and she doesn't necessarily jump up to her sister's defense, but a lot of the situations that she's put in is high pressure, and for a good chunk of the beginning of the time that we know her, she is manipulated because she still doesn't understand that people are out to manipulate her. One of the biggest scenes that people dislike Sansa for is her fight against, her being put between her sister and Joffrey, and her being able to say what happened, just took the escape route and said, I don't know, and kind of just dissed her family. But at the same time, you have to think about what situation she's put in. A lot of people are like, well, she should have chose her family's part, blah, 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 blah. But if you were her age and if you were put in a similar situation, I don't even think you would have known what to do exactly. And even at your current age, you probably still wouldn't have known what to do, because you're put in a situation where you're with your family who raised you, and you're with the soon-to-be family who's going to take you in. Who do you want to offend? You likely don't want to offend anyone, and I'm pretty sure Sansa didn't. And so she's still stuck in this huge situation that Cersei made even worse by making a spectacle out of it and getting the court involved. So Sansa's definitely in a spot where she's just like, oh my goodness, what do I do? And I think even at my age, I still would have been at a loss for what to do. That's messed up on Cersei's part. I'm stuck, deciding, do I piss off the people who are going to take me in? Do I piss off my family? It's a really difficult situation that a lot of people don't take the time to think a little bit more on. So, that aside, we get the Sansa who starts to understand people are really messed up. people are manipulating me. And it's this period where I hate when people basically blame her for being in an abusive situation, and this whole victim blaming thing just disgusts me. And people just don't understand how abuse works, how an abuser can have power over you, because Joffrey doesn't only physically abuse her, he and his mother have major mental hold over Sansa, and it's terrible. And, you know, Sansa is also just traumatized because she had that childlike innocence and beauty that I was talking about that just got stripped away from her. She can no longer view the world how she once did, and that has to be so damaging. I know I myself look back at that time and I'm like, oh, I wish I could look at the world like I once did. So, that is really just a terrible situation for Sansa to be in all around. Now, here comes the situation that a lot of people like to throw in. Well, if it was Arya, blah, 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 blah. No, stop right there. Sansa is not Arya. Get over it. Sansa likes being a lady. Sansa doesn't like combat. Sansa likes the life of the court, the life of, you know, being a wife. The idea appeals to her. And that's okay, and that's fine. Not all strong characters need to be fighter types. They just need to be human, and that's what Sansa is. And she learns so much from this situation. And, secondly, I just think too many people give credit to Arya, because first of all, Arya, when she got approached by all the guards when she was a Syrio, had to run away, because even as badass as a character she is, she can't take on a whole string of guards. She actually has limited combat skills, even though she did have combat training. I think a lot of people put Arya on a bigger pedestal than she should be on. And second of all, you know, what would she do if she was in Sansa's shoes? Oh yeah, maybe she gets to kill Joffrey, then what? Oh, she should die with him because it would be for the greater good? Well, guess what? Sansa was going to do the same thing. Sansa was going to take out Joffrey and take herself out at the same time. So your line of reasoning ends there as well. So, anyways, that aside, Sansa starts learning her own strength, and a lot of it is internal. The fact that she was able to withstand such an abusive situation, both psychologically and physically, is a miracle. She has the mental strength of just a goddess. She's great. And so she's learning how to manipulate the people around her subtly to the best of her ability. And she's just learning what it means to survive in her own way, in this courtly way, which is actually going to be super huge in the future, because the Game of Thrones is all about, you know, that court intrigue and all about, you know, getting that power. And as we see from Littlefinger, he's able to do it without getting involved in wars, without being blatant and out there. He's very subtle about it, and this is exactly the kind of subtlety that our Sansa starts learning throughout this time period where she's being abused by Joffrey. And so we see her grow, and we see her constantly getting exposed to new situations, and how she reacts to these situations is impressive, and it's amazing. And I can't wait to see the type of character she blossoms into. But I just want to sit here and say that Sansa is a better character than we give her credit for from start to finish, because she starts at such a childish level. She just starts there where she doesn't know, and we get to see her grow more so than the rest of the characters, and grow in a different sense than the rest of the characters, and I just think it's absolutely amazing to see and watch. And I think that if people take a little more time to look at Sansa, she's probably one of the most relatable characters too. So, that's just my defense of Sansa. I just want people to look at her situation and what goes on a little bit more critically, give her a little more sympathy, and you know, she's not a villain, and she has a lot of interesting stuff that goes on. And so I don't think she deserves all the hate that she gets. So just explore that character a little bit more, and see if she gets more appeal to you, or at least becomes more tolerable, because you can do this with all the characters in A Song of Ice and Fire, and it's quite interesting to do. So try it with your least favorite characters and see where that gets you. So anyways, I'm super glad to do any more discussion videos. This discussion kind of just got brought up by one of my followers on my Facebook page, Lamar, I believe, and so I'll gladly turn some of our discussions into videos and explore things more and talk about things more. So leave any discussion topics you have in the comments below. You can also contact me through Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. I will gather all the information there that you have to give, and I will gladly do something with it. So thank you for your time. Until next time, bye. I suck at these, don't I?